JSheetz Artwork.
I was thinking today that maybe now is the time that I get myself a haircut. It's kind of like all over the place. Well, you probably can't see it because the background's darker, but like my hair had this spot to where here it kept curling up and doing this weird thing to where it would not stay, and then my hair kept curling over this direction, and then I would try to comb it the other way, it still wouldn't work, and it's just, I don't know, it's just not working out the right way that I want it to. But I don't want to get my hair cut too short. I like to be able to style my hair just a little bit, but I think personally that if my hair is really short, if I do a buzz cut or like shave my head, then I kind of look like I'm angry all the time for some reason, and I don't know why that is. I just look angry a lot, I think. It makes me look like a completely different person, and I think it kind of makes people to where then they form an opinion about me before they get to know me, and so then it just kind of makes things awkward. Like if I completely shave my head, and like personally I don't really worry or care about what people think of me. I just do what I enjoy do, like I just whatever I enjoy doing, however I want to dress, such as this big bright shirt that's like a salmon color. But I just dress how I want and make myself look how I want. But there's certain situations to where I just feel like it's best to avoid certain interactions that but I think you get the idea. Anyways, yeah, so the drawing I'm going to be doing today, again, is with this here pen, the Rotring Isograph 0.35 in my tiny little Moleskine Sketchbook here. And I'm getting there, but we've got a little bit of ways to go before I complete it. Sun's coming out more and it looks really nice out. I think I've talked about this before. When the sun comes out, it looks really nice, and I want to go outside drawing, but at the same time I don't want to be sitting there sweating and then get sweat on my sketchbook, or worry about like bugs trying to crawl on me, or if I'm trying to draw, people interrupting me when I just want to work on things and get my doodles done. But yeah. Anyways, let me know in the comments below what you think of this doodle, and if you got any questions about anything, I can go over them. If you have any drawings that you want me to review, you can email those to me. It's probably the best way to get a hold of me is to actually email me, because you can comment on the video, but if you want to send me an email personally that you have a drawing you want me to look at or do a review on my channel, it would be best to send me an email to my I have it linked below under my videos where you can email me. Just send it to that email and I'll respond to you and I can do a review of it. Or if you don't want me to put it in the channel, I can just give you my opinion of it, and we can just go from there. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this little 0.35 Rotring Isograph and start on this here doodle. Let's go. Isograph technical pen 0.35 in the Moleskine Sketchbook, a very small Moleskine Sketchbook, although this one is actually not the smallest Moleskine Sketchbook. I do have a set of two, I think. They're small sketchbooks that are maybe 2 by 3 inches or possibly smaller. Those sketchbooks are very tiny. And I actually do have one sketchbook that is smaller than that. I bought it at an art store, and it's maybe a half an inch by a half an inch in size, and that one's got over 100 pages. I'm gonna do little tiny doodles in that one, but I do have a lot of sketchbooks, a lot of variety. I have Moleskine, I have Pentalic, I have De La Rowney, I have my own sketchbooks that I've made myself personally. one of the easiest and cheapest ways of making a sketchbook is getting a 3-ring binder, getting some cardstock paper that you can buy in bulk of 100, 250, 500, or 1,000 sheets of paper at once. Just hole punch those papers and put them in a 3-ring binder, and you've got yourself your own handmade sketchbook. Although that's the most convenient way of doing it, but I've never done the way to where you take pieces of paper and then you glue them into the sketchbook with binding of like string or something. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I've never done that before, and I want to try that in the future. Make my own handmade sketchbook. I mean, really handmade, not the way I've been doing it, which is a hole puncher, cardstock paper, and a 3-ring binder. And I was looking back, I've got 5 of those sketchbooks that are like that. And then I have some other bigger sketchbooks. And then I probably have maybe 6,000 sheets of paper. And those are the cardstock papers that I draw on. I don't think I'll need any cardstock paper for probably years, maybe a decade. I don't know. It kind of depends on how many drawings I'm doing. But yeah, that's a lot of drawing paper and a lot of sketchbooks. I'm pretty much stocked up on drawing papers. Although there might be some here and there. There might be something new I want to try. I only buy one little sketchbook then. And when I get new sketchbooks now, if it's a new piece of paper, something completely different, I try to just fill that sketchbook out, get it done, so I don't have sketchbooks all over the place. But lots of sketchbooks, lots of pens. I have hundreds of pens, many, many pens. Which reminds me, I do need to do a tour of my art area again. It's been maybe a couple of months, and I have rearranged things, so things are a little bit different than what they were before. I keep having to yawn. But I woke up early today to get some doodling done. I actually woke up at 5:30 in the morning, even though I went to bed at 1 a.m. And then I got up early, started doing some doodles, and then after I got my doodles done, then I went ahead and made myself some breakfast. And then after I finished my breakfast, I started doing more doodles. And then my day really started from there on. But, things are going pretty good. Although, I did get an email from a subscriber recently, and it was a pretty long email, and I read it, and I will be making a video on that. And it was related to the Kohinoor, I believe is the name of the pen. And the questions he had for me and statements he had was about the pen, such as an ultrasonic cleaner and other things and cleaning solutions that you can use that are much cheaper than buying expensive stuff. I've actually never really used much of anything for cleaning my pens because I use them so much and I clean them so often that they get cleaned before they can really dry out. But I still want to get some cleaning solution for it. And I took his advice, and I will probably be making a video talking about the advice he gave me. And when I get the solution to it and to clean the pen, I will then put it all together, put it into a video, and then I will show you all how to clean a Rotring Isograph with the cleaning solution. And I've got a couple tutorials on my channel about using Rotring Isographs, how to draw with them and clean them and all that, and how they come apart. And I think one thing I haven't really done, I might have maybe, is compare the different nib sizes. I recommend if you're going to get a Rotring Isograph to get the 0.35, probably the best overall because it's small enough nib to where you can do details, but the pen isn't so big that you're using a lot of ink and making bold lines. Now, with the pens that are smaller than 0.35, if you try to draw on any surfaces that aren't perfectly smooth, then those surfaces are going to cause the pen to not smoothly write on the paper. The paper is going to cause the pen to catch onto the paper. And I did notice that if I try to use something like a 0.18 Rotring Isograph in a sketchbook that doesn't have perfectly smooth paper, then what generally happens is that the pen, because the nibs is so small, catches onto the slightly bumpy surface and then causes it to pull some of the paper fibers and little pieces into the Rotring Isograph, and then it doesn't want to draw, and the ink doesn't want to flow. And forgive me. Oh, God, again. This is what happens when you spend all day working on drawing and editing video. Where was I? I was talking about the pen. Now, the Rotring Isograph that I have, I've actually been drawing with these pens for only about 2 years, and is the favorite pen I've ever drawn with. It's a really close call with the fountain pens, but what I do like about the fountain pens is that they are more versatile in the amount of different colors of inks and the different nibs and sizes and everything. All different brands. There's just so much variety, whereas with the Rotring Isograph, even though there's not as much variety, it makes it so it's not too complicated, so you can focus on your drawing rather than worrying about which pen should I use and which, take it from me as advice, because I have so many different types of pens: ballpoints, gel pens, fountain pens, isographs, technical pens, fine liners, markers, pencils, mechanical pencils, crayons, different inks, on and on and on. And then I've got paints and stuff. I don't really do a whole lot of painting. I mostly do drawing, which is my favorite thing to do. But yeah, take some advice from me that if you're starting out, get a good pen that you like. I would say that if you want a pen that's refillable, so it can save you money in the long run on buying new pens, you want something refillable. So I would say a Rotring Isograph 0.35, or get a fountain pen. The one I started with was a Lamy Safari fountain pen, or you could do the Nose Ahab, but that one does have a larger nib. Or you could try one of the Pilot fountain pens. But from my experience from using it, I think one of the best fountain pens to start out with would be the Lamy Safari, because this one does not have a flex to the nib, so you don't have to worry about the line changing. You don't have to worry about the variations in line width. You can just focus on doing the drawing and not worry about, this line's too wide and I want a thinner line to get more details. Maybe I could use another pen. Then you get all confused, and then you're just forget what you were even drawing. Kind of like how I just forgot what I was talking about because I had to yawn. Oh. No. I tried to go to bed last night at a decent time. I went to bed at 9:45 and I laid there at 1 in the morning, so I'm hoping tonight I can go to bed earlier, so I can get up earlier and do more doodling. I feel more inspired, I guess, motivated. I have more ideas for drawings in the morning after I've rested. Kind of at night is when I have like those random big ideas. The like strange ideas that just randomly come to you and you're thinking, where did that come from? That's usually happens to me at nighttime. But yeah, about the Rotring Isograph, I will say that if you're drawing with them, make sure that you're careful with the nib. Don't make the mistake of, like when I'm using my Rotring Isograph, even if I set it beside me and I walk away from the table, and it's only me here, right? So I still put the cap on it if I'm going to be back in like 30 seconds, just in case if it rolls off the table. So what you could do is post the cap in the back of it so it doesn't roll. But I never actually draw with the back of it on there. I always draw without the cap on the pen. I'm not sure why, but I always prefer drawing without the cap on it. I don't know why. It's something about the balance of it. I like the weight of the pen to be more in the fingertips rather than at the other end of the pen. I guess it's just a personal preference, but yeah. So if you are drawing with this pen, just put the cap in the back. But if you're like me and you just like to draw with the pen without a cap, I always put the cap on the front of it, or you can just post the cap in the back and set it down. But personally, I always put the cap in the front of the pen, tighten it back on, so that if something happens, like if it falls off the table somehow, or if my phone alarm goes off or something, and I have to run back in and turn my phone off, I don't want to accidentally bump the pen and knock it off, so that if the cap was on the back, the nib of the pen is still exposed, which means if it falls off the table, it is going to get damaged, and then you gotta buy a new pen. So these pens are not that cheap. I think mine was like $35, $40 or something like that when I bought it 2 years ago, and I've gotten a lot of doodles out of that pen. As long as you just keep taking care of it. I don't know how long these pens last, because this last like 50 years, 100, as long as you're drawing in a smooth paper. I'm not really sure, but what if it was possible to take this pen and draw on a piece of paper? How many gallons of ink would you have to go through before the metal nib of the pen wears out? I mean, it has to be possible at some point, because if wind can shape huge rocks and boulders and carve them over time, then I would imagine that the physical contact of the pen and the paper with millions of gallons of ink. I don't know how much ink do you think you would need? And I'm talking about like drawing in a about drawing in a Moleskine sketchbook. I wonder how many pages you would fill up, how many sketchbooks you would do. 100,000 sketchbooks? I mean, do these nibs even wear down? I think if you're drawing on like a brick or a rock, maybe that would wear out, but that's not recommended. Yes, this pen is my favorite, and I wonder what other color. I know I believe I've seen that there was white ink you can buy for these pens, and I think there's a couple other colors, but I haven't ever tried them. I just like the black ink on the white paper because of the contrast, and I find that pretty interesting. It really pops off the paper. My fountain pens, I've got black ink and a red ink, and I've done, I would say 99.9% of my drawings I have done with black ink, out of all the different various colors that there is to possibly use. Yeah, I don't really actually have that much variety of ink. I mean, I've got some variety, but for as many different pens I have, I don't really have a lot of variety of ink compared to the variety of pens that I have. So, yeah. Have you ever been tired and you want to get things done? You want to work on things, but you feel sleepy. Not sleepy in the sense that you want to go to bed, but in the sense that you just want to lay down and not move. It's kind of how I feel some days in the evening. And I'm laying there, and I want to get things done, but I just feel extremely fatigued, and then I lay in bed, and then I feel energetic after I've been laying there for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and sometimes I'll feel like I need to sleep. I feel fatigued. I lay down for 15 minutes, and all of a sudden, the first 5 minutes, I feel like I'm about to fall asleep, and all of a sudden, suddenly I'm hyper. Well, not really hyper. I have like energy some, and I just lay there for another 5 minutes, and then I'm like kind of hyper, and so then I stand up and I move around and I start trying to draw again, and I get sleepy, and then oh, and then I start getting sleepy again. Maybe it's because the effect of drawing, where I'm so focused and I'm using so much of my mind to make the doodle, then maybe I'm just using a lot of energy from thinking. How many calories do you burn per hour from drawing and thinking about what to draw? I feel like, I don't know, this probably isn't even true or nothing, but it seems like most of my energy is spent towards drawing, really. Mentally, probably 90% of it is of everything I think about and do involves thoughts of drawing and working on that. Like right now, I'm looking at my computer monitor, and there's in the background this space, like galaxy, and I want to draw it, but it's colorful. It would be better as a painting, but I don't want to paint it. I feel like drawing it, but like, how would I go about drawing a colored painting of like these galaxy nebula clouds, and then there's stars and stuff? I think that would take quite a while to do. Now the stars would take a long time. I think best way to do that would be like white ink, possibly. Have another pen that has white ink in it, and I can do that. I'm trying to keep myself awake right now. I mean, as I said, I feel sleepy, and I feel like I can go to bed, but I know if I lay down, I'll just lay there. So I just force myself to stay awake and work on things, and then I get up, I eat, I draw, and that's that. Like right now, I have that feeling. You know that feeling you get right before you fall asleep, like 10 seconds before? That's how I felt now for about an hour. Well, more like an hour and a half. And, what do you do when you're in that situation, really? You stay awake? I mean, I've never been able to nap. Like, if I try to nap, it won't work. Like, if I set an alarm for 15 minutes, and it's like my mind knows there's an alarm in 15 minutes, and so then I won't even wake up. But there were times that I can try to nap, and I set an alarm, then I can't sleep. And the times I have tried to, I wake up more tired from a nap, or trying to nap, than I do staying awake. So it's like I don't even nap or anything. It's more like, I want to sleep, and that's it. My body just wants sleep. But I'm powering through it, and today I'm going to get myself maybe 3 more doodles done. I've got a couple of hours left until I have to go to bed. But yeah, I'm not even sure how many drawings I've done this week or this month or this year. I know it's been thousands of drawings in the past year because I have so many hard drives full of all the doodles that I've done and created. But yeah, right now I'm cooking 2 pieces of skinless, boneless chicken and a big pan. Well, not a pan. It's like a cooking pot, and I've got water in it, and it's boiling on high. But it's gonna take a while because I'm using a little electric skillet, and those take a while. So because of that, I just I usually draw while it's cooking. It takes like an hour or more to cook anything on it. But it's still better than using my gas stove because my gas stoves, the pilot lights are always on. So it makes my whole kitchen really hot. And then my whole apartment's hot. And then my air conditioner is running all day. But, yeah. What was I going to say next? Oh, I remember. I was going to say, you ever think about things you did when you were younger and hobbies you had that suddenly disappeared? I don't know, like most of my hobbies I've pretty much always done or had interest in. But some of the things that I don't really do as much anymore as powerlifting and sprinting, although I have a really high interest in them and I follow strongman competition and all that. I just everything's going on with working and drawing and video editing and stuff. I don't really have a whole lot of much of time at all. But I try to make time for stuff. Like right now, I haven't really worked out in a while, and I've lost quite a bit of muscle, and I'm not sure when I'm going to try to get back into where I was more muscular. But I'm mostly just focused on drawing. I'm not too concerned about that. But I just go with it, see how it goes. You ever make some really easy, cheap meals? And have you ever ran out of like any meat to eat or anything to make spaghetti? And then you get your spaghetti noodles, you get your tomato paste, and you think to yourself, or maybe you have fresh tomatoes you use, and then you got onions cut up, and maybe some bell pepper, and you got seasonings and all that, right? So you get everything prepared. You go to cook everything, and then you look and you don't have any meat to add to make spaghetti. That's when I usually will just use spaghetti noodles and some tomato paste, or maybe some tomatoes, cut them up, or some onions, maybe part of a bell pepper, add some seasonings and spices, and cheap and easy. And yeah, you're really lacking the protein, but at least you're getting something to eat. But as of right now, at this moment, my eyelids feel like they have an entire weight of a building on each eyelid. So I'm powering through this and trying to stay awake. And I don't know how I've stayed awake because I feel like I've been wanting to fall asleep for over an hour. So then I just had some things to do. And so here I am. Okay, something to keep me awake. Gotta think of something. I gotta think of a topic. I gotta think of something to talk about. Let's see here. Looking out the window, there's a lot of light. It's summer outside. It's warm. And the sky's clear and blue. And I'm looking at my DSLR and thinking about different ways I could record things now that I've got all this light from my window now for most of the day to record things. I think I'll do that later on after I sleep. I might sleep, but I'm not sure. But I'm too sleepy to stay awake any longer because I need to eat still. And when I eat, I get really sleepy. And then I just want to lay there. So that's what usually happens with that. I think my chicken's like maybe 20% done. I still got a ways to cook before it's complete. And sometimes it gets so sleepy, but I'm so hungry that I don't know which thing to do. So I bring the food with me to bed and I eat some of it, and then I just fall asleep, which isn't good to do. I haven't really done that often, really. Maybe once every, I don't know, 2 months or something. Yeah. Oh, I was going to mention about when you're younger and you have hobbies and things that like you used to do them, you used to have interest in them. Other hobbies I have interest in, philosophy and science. I have a lot of interest in philosophy. I think that really learning about yourself and what's going on around you really help you better yourself in life so that you're not so stressed and everything. And you can kind of set your mind on the right things that you can focus on to improve yourself and to be happy with where you are in life. And science I've always had an interest in because of, all the stuff with learning about animals and learning about stars and the universe and everything. I was really, really into learning about the universe when I was a kid. I think every kid, a lot of kids were interested in dinosaurs and space, universe. And then a lot of people get up, they grow up and they just completely forget all of it. And then they're just working and they don't really have any hobbies or anything. And then they're just not that happy. And then they question whatever happened to me, whatever happened to things that I used to enjoy. And then you just get to where, you're just you're not happy and content with where you are. And so then you kind of just go through your days going about doing the same thing over and over and kind of being bored and not knowing what to do. And then you just lose motivation. So I'm always trying to do new things, try new things, be it maybe a little something with audio editing or video editing, or maybe drawing with a different pen or a different drawing style or a different sketchbook or maybe a different doodle altogether. It all depends, but I just try to stay creative. That's my advice. Just stay creative. Try to do things that are new and different so that you can really test your mind and use your brain like a muscle. Because if you don't use muscles, you use them. And I think it's the same thing with your brain. So just keep working on it. And my brain right now is really sleepy. So I'm probably going to go and work on some things to let it rest. Just like you want to let a muscle rest and recover. So thank you for watching. Give us a like if you want to. Share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you later.